I'm going to show you a way to create fire in Photoshop and then bring it into Toom Studio. And from there, I'm going to show you how to loop that fire to create a cheesy effect, but it's worthwhile just to see how to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Photoshop and I'm going to create a new file. And the file is going to roughly match the size of the Toom document that I have open. The background is going to be transparent so that when I save it as a PNG, the transparency will stay intact. I'm going to go ahead and say OK. And in Photoshop, let me go ahead and just extend this window so we don't have to see the background there. I'm going to double click on this swatch over here and come up with a nice dark orange color. And with my brush selected, I'm going to make sure that it's a decent size, like 60 pixels. And I'm going to just paint out the rough shape of some flames, like a firewood, or one of those, like, you know, you go camping and you have the fire going. So I'm going to decrease the size of this now and just get some of those little tendrils going. And once again, this is going to look much better when I show you the trick I'm going to pull off here. And then I'm going to go to the color swatch and double click again. And this time I'm going to come up with a brighter color because fire gets brighter as it gets hotter. So in the center, I'm going to go ahead and just add some more color. And last but not least, I'm going to add a little bit of white, or a little off-white right there in the middle like that. That's the cream filling in the fire. So I'm going to go to the filter menu and I'm going to choose liquefy. With the liquefy filter, what I can do is I can grab this fire and I can shape it. And I'm just pulling with the mouse to create the fire. And like I said, I'm just going to go for the little campfire feel. And I'm going to just do a little bit more playing around like so. And you can tweak it to your heart's content, but you're going to get the feeling that I'm going for in just a second. So that's going to be the first frame of our fire. So I'm going to go and click OK and let that process down. And then we're going to go to the File menu and we're going to save that out. And I'm going to go to my desktop and create a new folder. And I'll call it Fire. And I'm going to make sure the format is PNG. And I'm going to name this Fire 1. Then I'm going to copy the name, Command or Control C, so we can save that and save some time. And I'm going to just say OK for the interlace options. Now we're going to go back to the filter menu again and go back to liquefy. And we're going to play around with the same fire we have here. We're going to modify this fire a little bit and just play around with it. This is the safest way to play with fire, the computer version of it. But still, I say to you, don't try this at home. And now we're playing around with the fire. I'm going to click OK. And we're going to save this one as Fire 02. I think you're following me now. So I'm going to make sure that the PNG format is selected, and I'm going to paste now. Command or Control V for paste. And as long as this is still selected with the cursor here, I'm going to backspace and put a 2 there. Save that. And we're going to do it one more time. I'm going to go back to the liquefy menu, and we're going to play around with the fire just a little more. And just modify it just a little bit more to make the fire, look alive-ish. And then we're going to save this one as Fire 03. Format, PNG, paste, and backspace 03. Now that we have our fire, I'm going to hide Photoshop, and we're going to go and bring these into Toom Studio. So we're going to go to our exposure sheet, and we're going to click the image button. And we're going to bring a new image element in. So we're going to import the first frame of the fire, which is on the desktop. Let me go to my desktop here. And we're going to choose Fire 01. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to, right next to it, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to right click in this frame, or rather the cell, and we're going to bring in Fire 02. And we're going to do the same thing in the third cell in the same image there. We're going to go to File and pick out Fire 03, and then we have the fire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a cycle. So I'm going to select all of them, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to choose Create Cycle, and I'm going to say give me 10. Click OK. Then I'm going to deselect these frames here, and I'm going to hit return to see what the fire looks like. And we have a very rudimentary but cool fire effect that you can use in your animations. If you want to, what you can do is stagger the appearance of the fire. So before you go ahead and make that loop, you can go ahead and put image 1, 2, and then maybe another 1 and a 3 and a 2, just to make it look a little bit more alive instead of so uniform. So that's how you make fire in Photoshop to use with Toom Studio.